Okay, today's lesson is on function tables. You should have your notes with you, and let's just go ahead and get started with a little bit of vocabulary. So you're going to write down these vocabulary words, and then we'll go back and explain them a little bit better. But for right now, let's just write them. So a function is a relation that gives exactly one output value for every one input value. And then the function rule is going to be looking at the relationship between the x and the y value, the input and the output. So it's basically asking you, what are we doing to x? What am I doing to x? You don't have to write that, but so what am I doing to my x value? And then finally, the function chart is what we're going to organize. So we're going to organize the input and the output values in a function table. So go ahead and pause the video and make sure you have those written down, and then we'll go over them. All right, so one of the things in elementary school, you all might have looked at what's called a function machine or something like that. It might have looked like this in elementary school. So basically what this means is if I put into this little machine, if I put in 23 and I add 4 to it, it's going to spit out or put in the output 27. And then so my question is, if I put 29 into the machine, I'm supposed to add 4 to it, what would come out? So that would be 33, and so on. Okay. Another thing you might have seen is something like this. Again, another little function machine is what it looks like. So if I put in 4 and I get out 8, what did I do to this 4? Well, I multiplied it by 2. I multiplied it by 2, so I times 2. Or something like this. Okay, but we're not going to draw pictures or little machines and stuff. We're actually going to put all of this in what's called a function chart. Okay, so all it's asking is, what am I doing to my x value? So for a function chart, what you all are going to be required to do is to make one of these. So all it is, if you'll see, if there's just 3 columns. Okay, 3 columns. So the first column is going to be my x values or my input. My middle column is going to be my rule, or what am I doing to that x value. And then the final one is going to be my y, or my answer. What does it come out to be? So this is in your notes, so let's just go ahead and practice one. All right, so my rule is x plus 6, so that's important. So I'm going to go over here, and these are just different numbers that I'm going to tell you is your x value. So you're first just going to start off with, if I tell you that x is 8, you're just going to plug it in. So that's just 8 plus 6. So that would be 14. 8 plus 6 is 14. So my output or my y value is going to be my answer. But now I'm going to tell you that x is 10. So you're going to plug that in. Always plugging in for x. So that's 10 plus 6. So that's just 16. And then plugging in 15, that's 15 plus 6. So that's 21. Okay? All right, let's just do a couple more examples. Okay, this is not in your notes, but this is just a couple more examples, so you can just kind of watch me. All right, so here is my function chart. I've got my x values, my rule, and my output. My rule is really important because that's telling me what I'm going to do. I always need to know the rule. So I'm going to plug in for 0. So that just means 3 times 0 would just give me 0. 3 times 2, that's my x value, would be 6. Uh-oh, but I didn't give you the x here. I gave you the y. So if you notice, if I'm going from my input this way, I'm multiplying by 3. I'm multiplying by 3. So what do you think I would do if I went that way? Wouldn't I just divide by 3? So the opposite of multiplying by 3, I'm going to divide by 3. So my input value would have to be 6, right? Because 3 times 6 gives me 18. Okay? And then here's just a 2-step one. So I'm going to plug it in. 4 times 3 plus 1. That would be 12 plus 1 is 13. 4 times 4 plus 1. That's 16 plus 1 is 17. And 4 times 5 plus 1 is 21. Okay? All right. So why don't you go ahead and do these 3. Go ahead and pause the video and come back with your answers. Remember, all you're doing is you're plugging in the x value every time. Remember, looks like this is a multiplication problem. This is a multiplication and an addition. So you just need to plug it in. So that's 5 times 7 equals, let's look at this one. This would be 3 times 4 plus 2. That's 12 plus 2. And this one would be 2 times 5 minus 1. All right, you finish them up and come back when you have your answers completed. All right, check those answers. Okay, you'll notice in red, that's my x value every time. That's what I'm plugging in. Okay, or that's what I'm putting into the machine like we just have. Okay. All right, so one other thing I want you to look at is to see if you can write the function rule of the equation for each one. The only thing different with this, a lot of times we will say 5 plus 3 equals 8. We always put the equals at the end, but in a function rule, actually the equals, we're going to start off, we're going to kind of do a different order. So it's kind of like 8 equals 5 plus 3. Same thing, it's just flipping the order. It's not a big deal. All right. So if I look at this chart right here, I'm going to tell you the function rule for this one is y equals 5x. Over here, I'm going to tell you the equation is y equals 3x plus 2. And over here, this one, the equation is y equals 2x minus 1. Are you understanding where I'm getting that from? Ding, ding, ding. Are you seeing it? Aren't I getting it from right here? So when I write the equation, all I'm doing is I'm just writing down whatever the rule is. That's all I'm doing. Okay? That's all I'm doing. So if I were to ask you to go back to this one, let's go back over here. Oops, let's go back here. What would be the equation for this one? Wouldn't it just be y equals x plus 6? Okay? All right, so let's see. You've got 3 to do. I want you to set up the charts. So remember, you're going to set up the chart. So you need 3 columns. This is my x, this is my y, and this is my rule. Okay, so my rule is 3x plus 1. All right, I'm telling you the x values, so you're just going to put them right here. So my x values is 2, 4, 6, and 8. Okay, all right, I want you to do the first one only, and then come back when you have your answer. Do the first one and come back for your answer. All right, check those answers there. Okay, so my equation for this one would just be y equals 3x. Oh, I already wrote it up here. Haha. Okay. All right, you do these two, the next two, and come back when you have your answer. All right, check those answers. Okay, make sure when you were here, when you had your x squared, remember that's that number times itself. So that's 2 times 2. That's 4 times 4. That's how I got that. That's 6 times 6. Okay? All right, if you have any questions with this, please let me know. Have a great day, guys.